Hello, my name is Danielle Burton Westwood, and today my presentation is on speaking out about bullying, because bullying needs to stop. So who can get bullied? Anyone?
Everyone.
It can be us peers, it can be children, it can be us students, but it can also be the teachers, the adults, you, me, everyone. But why? It can be because of your weight. This girl's bullied because she's too skinny, and this girl's bullied because she's too big. It can be your personality. It's not because you have a bad personality, but it's because your personality isn't the same as other people's personalities. It can be your sexuality, because everyone is different. It can be gossip, a very big one, because you can say one thing to somebody who can then say it to another person, but it can sort of get mixed up, and then people start to twist it, and then it's just not the same outcome. They might have bad lives themselves, like they could be going through something and it can be really tough for them, and they have just anger and they take it out on you, which obviously leaves you upset. Oh, cool. How can they bully you? They can do it physically, which can be from a push to a punch. They can do it emotionally, like say there's something wrong with them, and they can say, oh, can you do this because I don't want to do it because of that. But then sometimes they can't actually do it. And some people get confused with the two. Like some say, I can't do it because of this, but they can do it, they just don't want to do it. So they are emotionally bullying you into doing it. There is social networking sites which are like everywhere. You've got your text, your Facebook, whatever's. But it can also be non-verbal. Do any of you know what that means? It means when someone won't talk to you, say you're in a group and you ask them something and none of them will talk to you. You say, can I have the water? And they will just ignore you. You're not there. But then there is also verbally, which is obviously the opposite, where they say everything and anything to hurt you. Because don't forget, words hurt too. So what are the effects of bullying? Anyone?
Trauma.
Trauma. Death.
Lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence. Yeah. Got low self-esteem. Anger in themselves. Feeling alone. Depression. Fear of leaving the house. Self-harm. They might turn to drugs and alcohol, and then there's suicide. So do you know these people? Anyone?
Recognise the girl.
Recognise the girl? They were bullied to death. This is Seth Walsh. Seth Walsh, he was bullied because of his sexuality. He was bullied at a very young age. And it got to the point in high school where it was taken too far and it got very physical. And he had to get his mum to pick him up. And then, just aged 13, he killed himself. This is Amanda Todd. She was bullied because of a mistake which turned into blackmail. which ruined her. She basically met someone online who persuaded her to expose herself, and then he obviously took a picture of it, made a Facebook, and stalked her. Sent this picture to everyone she knew. She moved schools 3 times, and each time this person found her and did the same thing. She was beaten up because of it. She even tried to kill herself twice, and then at age 15 she hung herself. So my experience with bullying. Now, I've been bullied since I was a kid over some silly things, but then it got worse when I went to high school, and it was just one of the lowest points of my life. I mean, I was verbally bullied, physically bullied, emotionally bullied. I had my head smacked off a wall, and the school wouldn't do anything. I was bullied because of my sexuality, and I had to move schools because the school told me it was my fault. And then I fell pregnant after, I left school in year 11 and I didn't want to go back. And I did things I shouldn't have done, and I got pregnant. So I was forced to go back to school, and even then I was still bullied. And I had death threats every day. So during the 6 weeks holidays leading up towards coming to college, I was heavily pregnant and I would not leave my house without my mum. Even if it was just to go to the shops, which is a 5-minute walk, I would not leave without my mum. She picked me up from college, she took me to college, she did everything for me because she knew how hard it was for me. And then I obviously developed depression. I'd been self-harming for 4 years. I'd obviously stopped self-harming by the time I found out I was pregnant. 3 suicidal attempts in my life, all obviously failed, but I'm still struggling because depression is quiet and anyone can fall victim. Now I'm going to tell you a little story. So just imagine you're this person. You wake up and you feel like nobody cares. Day in, day out, that's what you tell yourself. Nobody cares. You go to college praying the teachers won't call your name because you just want to blend in. You don't want to be noticed anymore. You do have friends, but they've never really asked you if you're okay, so you've never really told them. You feel like you're a disappointment to your friends, to your family, to everyone. You think you're a lost hope and there's no point trying anymore. They call you names every day like fat, ugly, and you believe them. You believe every single word. So today's the day. You think, why? Why should I be here anymore? So you go home, you grab your bottle of pills, and you start to write your goodbyes. And to your mum you put, I'm sorry, I do love you and none of this is your fault. To your friends you put, I'll miss you, but this world just wasn't for me. And to your bullies you write, I hope you're okay, because if putting me down really made you feel any better, then I hope you're okay. Without a hesitation, you grab the bottle of pills and you take them all. And you lie in your bed and you start to get dizzy. And then you realise you don't want this. And you start to call out for your mum, but she's not there. No one's home. You're all alone. And your last thought is regret. Because you didn't speak out and you didn't get any help. But is it all over? Your mum, she comes home, she finds her daughter lying on the bed. She thinks you're asleep, so she leaves you for a bit. She then comes back, she wakes you up, but you don't wake. And then she realises, she knows her baby's gone. She calls the paramedics, but you're pronounced dead at the scene. You're gone. She blames herself every day. Your dad, he tries to stay strong. He does everything he can, but inside he's asking himself, what did he do wrong? Wasn't he there enough? Your friends, they all blame themselves. What if they really asked you how you were feeling? How could they not notice that there was something wrong? Your bullies, they're going through the exact same thing as you now because they feel like it's their fault. Your death is now on their hands. But there's nothing anyone can do because you're gone. It's that moment you're in your room and you burst into tears and realise that no one knows how unhappy you are. But it's because you didn't speak up and ask for help. Sometimes people say they can help you, but they don't. And they just push you aside and say there's nothing really wrong, you're fine. But you're not asking the right people. If someone says, no, it's fine, go to someone else. People think they have nobody, but they do. There's loads of people willing to help you. No way am I saying that suicide or self-harm is selfish because I've been through it. And there are people out there and they are ready to listen. There's your friends. Although it might not seem it, you can talk to a lot of different friends. But you can also talk to just one friend. Anyone. Just tell them how you're really feeling. They might not know what to do, but they'll tell you they'll always be by your side. And they'll help you get through it. There's your family. I know personally I couldn't speak to my family. I felt like I couldn't talk to my mum. I just felt like she wouldn't understand it. But it wasn't until I was pregnant that she could. It's your siblings. They're probably going through it too. Your entire family will be there for you. Because you're all blood. Blood is thicker than water. There's also Leanne Holland who comes to this school. You'll find her in the foster centre. She's a mentor here. She's obviously in the hub in the foster centre. She's really good. Her email address is mentoring.rodbaston@southstats.ace.uk. She'll listen to anything. There's also Childline. Now there's many ways you can go about Childline. You can come onto this online one and go onto an online one-to-one chat. Or you can call Childline personally, talk to a counsellor. Or you can write to Ask Sam, which is where you ask a question and then he'll reply. But that's mainly where everyone can see what your question is. There's messaging boards where you can talk to other people who are going through the same things as you. You can email in as well. Because you don't have to suffer in silence. You're not the one to blame for bullying. But you need to speak out because we only see a little bit of how you're suffering. Because the suffering's never talked about. Any questions?
That was just amazing. I've never heard such a good presentation. It was really moving. And just thank you for sharing, really.
What would you say to somebody who is being bullied? What would you advise them to do?
I'd advise them to speak out, tell parents, tell the school or the college that they're at. And if that isn't working, you go further and say, go to the police or something and say that you're being harassed. And the police will actually deal with it. They will go to this person and tell them that they're being given a warning for bullying. Because bullying is just not right. You have the right to not be bullied and to be left alone. Anyone else?
How you feel, Danielle, after your experiences, in college and you've got the girls? How's things for you now?
Things are still the same. I'm still bullied online, verbally, but not as physically. Nobody's actually physically hurt me since, but they have still tried to attack me online, which I have learned to just block and delete. It's just not worth it anymore, because sometimes the little things, they do hurt the most. And bullying has always affected me, and it will always affect me. But I know that I have now people to reach out. I've got you guys as friends, I've got my family who I can now talk to, Leanne and Childline.
Okay, thank you.